President Obama scrapped plans to build a missile defense shield in Eastern Europe, upsetting both the Czech Republic and Poland in so doing. Did President Obama cave into pressure from Russia? That is the subject of our face-off debate tonight. And joining me now are Jed Babbin. He's editor of Human Events, also a former Deputy Undersecretary of Defense under President George H.W. Bush, who says the plan is a bad idea, an insult to our allies. Good to have you with us. And Joseph Cirincione, he is president of the Plowshares Fund, who believes the new Obama plan defends our interests far more cheaply and more effectively. Joe, good to have you with us.
Pleasure, Lou.
Let's start with the first issue, and that is the President of the United States calling up the premiers of these two countries to announce before telling Congress that the missile shield is over. What do you think, John?
Well, I think having chosen the day of the 70th anniversary of the Russian invasion of Poland, he could not have timed it better than to insult our Polish allies, who have been very stalwart, by the way, in the war on terror in Iraq and in Afghanistan. These people are either ignorant of history, Lou, or really very intentionally insulting some of our very valuable allies.
What do you think, Joe?
The Poles are not insulted. In fact, a new public opinion poll of the Polish people today shows that 56% of them support Obama's decision. They never cared about these interceptors. What they wanted was an American commitment. They're going to get that commitment. What they wanted was American troops stationed in Poland. They're going to get those troops. The same is true for the Czech Republic. 70% of the Czech public opposed this decision. The Czech government fell because they couldn't get Parliament to agree to this. This actually is quite popular in those two countries.
I don't think it's going to be very popular once people figure out that it is, number one, a mirage and not a plan. The president has proposed something that cannot be done and will not be done. The redeployment of these ships is based on nothing in terms of increasing the number of ships. Lou, we have only 18 ships in the entire Navy capable to do this. They're all fully engaged right now on other assignments. To say, as Joe is kind of flippantly, that all this stuff is going to go into the Mediterranean and the North Sea and everything's going to be hunky-dory right away, this can't be accomplished, period, unless you spend $20 to $30 billion building new ships.
I completely disagree. The Bush plan would have deployed a technology that doesn't work against a threat that didn't yet exist with money we didn't have in countries that didn't want it. Obama is replacing nothing with something. He's putting more military assets on station more quickly, protecting more countries than the Bush plan would. I've been a critic of missile defense plans for 25 years. Most of them didn't work. This is the most reasonable anti-missile deployment I have ever seen. Instead of 10 interceptors in Poland, which was the Bush plan, we're going to have hundreds of interceptors in that same time frame for half the price, Joe, in the Eastern Mediterranean, Joe, protecting not just Europe, but Israel. Israel gets real security benefits from this plan.
Joe, Israel, number one, will not be protected primarily by this plan because the ships are going to be pretty much too close to shoot down anything coming out of Iran. The Israelis are going to take care of themselves. Number two, this will not be deployed. This works, maybe, once the Standard 3 missiles are fixed. Once you have these ships built, you have 18 ships. There'll be a total of 21 by the end of 2010. There will not be enough to do this. You have to have at least 10 or 12 to do this deployment. They do not exist.
Let me get a reaction from both of you to this map that works to portray the situation that faces Israel, Eastern Europe, and indeed the United States' interest in the region. With Iran at the center point, the first circle is the short and medium-range missiles launched from Iran. The second circle, the outline, which includes and encompasses, of course, Poland, Eastern Europe, and the Czech Republic, that is a potential reach of intermediate-range missiles, and best as our intelligence can discern, not yet fully developed by the Iranians. What is your reaction to that threat clearly laid out for Israel, for Eastern Europe, Joe?
Well, that map clearly shows the existing threat, which is these short and medium-range missiles. Iran does not have a long-range missile, and I think it's most independent experts agree it's at least 10 years away.
Let me interrupt. that the second circle is not for the
Yes.
long-range missiles. It's for
The intermediate range, right. The 3,000-kilometer range missiles, they don't have that yet. What they do have is a 1,200-kilometer range Shahab 3. That's what the Aegis system is designed to defend against. It replaces the 10 interceptors that would have been in Poland with hundreds of interceptors on these ships. It's like replacing a six-shooter with a machine gun.
These are not going to be deployed. We don't have them. We can't deploy them.
That's just not true.
Joe, read the numbers. This is absolutely true.
The military chiefs
look,
are
can I
completely
finish?
behind
Can I
this
get
plan.
in here? Can
Go
I get
ahead,
in here?
Jed.
Please.
The basic point is this is a mirage and not a plan. The intelligence that it is based on is fallacious. You have the Iranians saying now, well, Gates is saying that they don't have the long-range missile capability. They put a satellite in orbit this year. They successfely tested a missile that can reach Poland.
Okay,
That's where
That
it
is
I've got a
not
break
true.
right there.
It's
Joe,
absolutely the
Joe
facts.
Cirincione, good to have you with us. We appreciate it. Jed Babbin, thank you for being with
My
us.
pleasure,
you.
Lou. Thanks for having us.
Up next, an Acorn whistleblower calls for an investigation of his own left-wing activist group. A former director of Acorn joins us here, and we'll tell you why one city is importing teachers from overseas. What is going on here? And the president meets New York Governor David Paterson a day after he tells him not to run for re-election or for election. We'll be right back.
You wanted to see me, sir?
Oh, come on in. I had some other things you could tell people about